Okay guys, so this is a quick video on determining what your key poses are in your weight shift assignment. So this was the reference that I loaded in. So let's analyze this movement. What keys would we definitely want to have? Let's go ahead and add a key here on frame 1. You'll see there's a little anticipation here where before he lifts his foot up, he shifts his weight over his left foot. He also adjusts the position of the foot, rotating it, pivoting it on the heel, which is kind of an interesting little detail. So the next pose I would probably put down is right here at frame 21. So this we would definitely want to keep, okay? So he's shifted his weight over this foot. He's also pivoted this foot from his heel. And if we draw a line from the base of his neck, that sort of hollow area that happens right in between the clavicles, straight down, you'll see that the bulk of his body has shifted over this foot. So his hips, or the root control that exists around the hips, sometimes it's called the upper body root or base control, has shifted here over his left foot. And this allows him, this has taken the weight off the right foot, which allows him to then lift this foot up. So if we could see the structure underneath, this hip would have dropped and it would be higher, the pelvis would be higher on the side where with the weight bearing foot. His shoulders are tilted slightly counter to what the hips are doing. And then the head, the angle of the head, usually mirrors the angle of the hips, okay? So you've got like some contrapposto going on here, all right? So this is a key, frame 21 is a key. He's gonna lift that foot, place it down at frame 33, but the weight doesn't completely get over to the other side until right around here, around frame 57. So this is a key. We definitely want to have a key right here. Then again, stays over here. He's shifted slightly this way a little bit more, but once this pose is super similar to what we have at frame 57, where the hip is angled like this now, the body counters it, and his head is a little bit straight on. Okay, again, if we take a line from here and draw it straight down, we'll be right over the weight-bearing foot. Now the weight is not on this side, so the hip has dropped. And he kind of lives in this pose for a little while, right? Before he starts to go back the other way. So the weight is still on this side. He's rotated a little bit in Y. As this knee comes up. So this pose right here, I would make this a key. I would make this a key. 138. So there's a couple breakdowns in here I think are really important to also put in our blocking pass. So you'll see we added a key here, which is sort of the anticipation of his body moving the opposite direction of the way it's going to go, right? And it's just as he begins to roll this foot up. First he lifts the heel so their weight is on the ball of the foot, and then he comes up off the edge of the ball of the foot. We're looking at the right foot here. This foot. It's kind of an interesting motion. It's not just a lift straight up with in YT. There's like a lot of detail that's going on with the feet that will really add to your animation if you decide to take the time to create the poses for this motion. Anyway, so I would also see how the foot comes down here. I would put a key here because the foot has repositioned itself, but you'll notice that the hips haven't moved that far yet. They're still mostly over the left foot. So the foot comes down, then the body shifts over. Right? So I think that this frame 28 is super important for us to get. And then midway between here and here, I would say probably right around here is the lowest point in the YT if we were just keying the bass control. So I would want to go ahead and put this in because it's gonna start a nice little arc like this in the motion, in the side-to-side motion going over. Similarly, as we go back, we're starting to lift off the foot here at 95. Once we place the foot all the way down, and notice how his big toe comes down first, and then a couple frames later, the heel's down. So the thing that's cool about this is I would put a key right here where the toe first comes down. And then notice that the hips they've only moved slightly. They're still mostly over this foot, right? They haven't started swinging over. Now they start to come over. So the foot leads, then the hips follow.